Welcome to Bealtaine Cottage, the home of goddess permaculture. These are some photographs of Bealtaine Cottage at the very beginning of what's become known as the Bealtaine Project. And this is about full restoration of Mother Earth and caretaking of the regeneration. There's so much greening and so much blossom, and it's sort of like fill in the missing square or whatever, because all the gaps have been filled in. And look at this, little black currants have been set already. So the bees have been very busy. They're fantastic workers. And look at the blossom on this beautiful ornamental apple. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just smothered in blossom. I don't know if you can hear them, but there's lots and lots of bees around, and you see everything's been planted so closely together, so the black currants are just overhanging this shrub, and the bees are in there working away. There's a lot of forage for them. I've mowed the path along by the tunnel here, and every so often I stopped just to look in at the Lunacy Garden and just be amazed at some of the flowers. This is Comfrey. It's beautiful flowering Comfrey. I mean, the flowers are just incredible. They really are. Beautiful colours. And the bees really do go absolutely crazy over it. And little wonder. Beautiful sort of... Look at these designs. Look. Aren't they gorgeous? Another view of the Lunacy Garden. It's hard to believe, really, that this little patch, this little sort of rectangular garden, is infested with bindweed. But what I've done is to plant really closely together, and then I've gone in again and planted quite a lot of low-growing shrubs, because this will in effect just block the bindweed out. And what little bits do manage to straggle towards the light, I can easily pick off. And of course also, this little garden is rampant with mint, which is fine. It's the Lunacy Garden, so it's just there for the bees and the butterflies and the birds. And let the mint flower, let everything have its day. There's even some clematis growing up that willow arch. And do you remember when I planted out this bed, which really was a kind of a ongoing problem year after year? It was so wet. And initially I had rhubarb in here, but then the mint got in and it all sort of went berserk. And then couch grass got in, and it was just... So I thought, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a jolly good mulch with compost to make it really rich for anything that I put in there. And then I just put in lots and lots of cuttings of Cornus alba sibirica, which is this beautiful red dogwood, you see? See this? Now, the dogwood, as it's coming into leaf, will shade out that mint. So the mint doesn't really matter anymore down there. And during the winter, now this is really going to be the first year that I'm going to get this lovely red flush, because you can see the little cuttings that were. And this is a lot of last year's growth. So I'm just going to let it really go this year. So come the autumn and the winter, it's going to be like a wall of red. So that will be a real feature during the months when there's very little else in here. It looks like I'm having cherries on this little tree that I grew from the seed, collected from the grounds of my old school. And if you look closely, you can see the creeping buttercup and all the rest of it. But it doesn't matter, because your eye is taken over all the beautiful mounds, the mounds of promise, you know. So the geranium, there's a little bay tree in there as well. There's raspberries and black currants. If you look closely, look, there's lots of dock leaves as well. And here we go, look, there's some dock leaves. And then there's a little sycamore tree in here, again, one that I grew from seed. And then there's a little apple tree and snowball bush and fuchsia and pyracantha and cotoneaster, and it's just all competing for space. And in a few years' time, the mint and the creeping buttercup will be hardly noticeable, because it just won't have the space. And this is what I say about planting out weeds, you know, planting out something you don't want, or planting out something that's gone a bit berserk. Put plants in, just going to, you know, put it back into its place. It's a bit like a naughty boy having 2 or 3 sisters that's going to sort him out. That's the kind of philosophy. And it works. By golly, it does work. There's Jack looking for couch grass. There's a little path that takes you from the Lunacy Garden over into the wild edge and where the stone circle is. And it has a natural arch now with the buddleia. And with this. This, of course, is the beautiful cross between the blackcurrant and the gooseberry. There's a little board that takes you across the ditch. You can just see up there some ferns unfurling. Oh, by the way, this is jostaberry, just to give you the name on it. And it does like to grow quite high, and it's just covered in fruit. And this is one of the great advantages to having planted so thickly and so deeply into all the gardens. There's so much forage here for bees and insects that everything is pollinated. I mean, there's not a blossom that isn't pollinated. And when you look at all these tiny little black currants beginning to form, and again, look, there was a little path that took you along here to get at the black currants. But anyway, you can kind of wedge yourself in there if you need to. But look at this for a fantastic harvest. On this marginal land. I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you? What on earth are these agricultural scientists talking about? Well, what are they talking about? Marginal land. Look at this. Look at this. It defies. It just defies all the rules, really, you know. So this is the little woodland top of the tunnel, and you can see there's bees in here, and there's a boy there. Yeah, I think that's Jack. Oh, you're supposed to go along the path, darling, not up there across the bed. So there's it goes back down that way. So there's a bay tree. I've managed to get lots of, well, I say lots of water. It was about 2 watering cans full over for the grapevine. So hopefully that'll start to look a bit more lively. You can hear the sheep next door. I will have to get in and pull some of this Chinese forget-me-not. It really does self-seed everywhere. So I'm going to take some of the seeds actually and scatter them down through the woodlands, you know. Let them have a bit of a go down there. Now, one of the lovely things about a wild edge in a garden is being able to deliberately place wild flowers into it. And these, of course, are the wild bluebells. What's the difference between wild bluebells and Spanish bluebells? Well, the Spanish bluebells, which are the ones that are sold a lot now in garden centres, and they come in different colours as well, are very straight. They're very straight. The old-fashioned bluebells, the real bluebells, you see, have little drooping heads on them. And they're a little bit more delicate. They're rather beautiful. So I put some wild bluebells in various parts of the woodland edge, of the wild edge. And I don't really have to do a lot with the wild edge because the best gardener of them all, of course, is Mother Earth. And I don't know if you can see into here. Just see if I can get a close-up. There's bluebells in there and celandines. And it's just like a little secret garden in amongst all the brambles. And then in here, there's an old tree that's sort of half fallen over, and you've got these bluebells and primroses in there. So it's very magical. It's very magical. And then the ferns unfurling and the old stones, and then you've got this beautiful old, still alive, still hanging on in there, absolutely gorgeous old ash tree. And, you know, I just would not touch that tree. You know, it's so proud and so defiant, you know, when you look up at it. Lots more ferns unfurling. A little oak tree in the middle of the stone circle, coming into leaf. the clematis growing up through the willow arches. And I put clematis over on this side as well. Do you remember? And the sweet chestnut coming into leaf and the plum. And the moss and the lichens and the stones. The 13 stones that make up the stone circle. And my beautiful little oak. I'm just leaving the stone circle now, and the little spirea hedge I planted has come into leaf. Looking across the ditch to the oak tree and the row of lime trees. And more bluebells. Lots more bluebells on the wild edge. And the beautiful hawthorn, ready for the May blossom. And see, look. And celandines and sweet Sicily and little ferns coming up on the ditch. Each year the abundance expands. Little lime tree there, grown from a cutting I put in the ground. It was just an experiment to see if I could grow a lime tree from a cutting. Apparently you can. And kindling. And this is now a woodland path. A little birch tree I planted. I think that was the beginning of last year. Euphorbia. Keep trying to spread plants hither and thither. And of course, lots and lots of willow there. This land just entrances me, you know, I can't keep away from it. Just can't keep away from it. As soon as I've finished a piece of work in the cottage or finished my lunch or whatever, I just have to come out. I have to come out here onto this land. It completely dominates me. Look at the leaves coming out now on the purple beach. And the beautiful foxtails coming out on the sedge. And look at the pollen, look. Isn't that magical? Look. Look. Isn't that amazing? Oh, it feels just like very fine, very expensive talcum powder. just back down on the other side of the Lunacy Garden. The blessings to you all on this beautiful evening. There was a promise of rain, but nothing much happened. But apparently it's going to rain quite a lot on Wednesday. So we can wait till then. Blessings to you all. There was just one more little thing that I wanted to share with you. And it's written by Sarah Warden from a book, I think it's from a book called Blood of Earth. Okay, I have it on my phone here and I'm just going to sit down and get this. Okay. It's a beautiful piece, and for me it sums up Mother Earth and part of my relationship with her. I thought that you would be frozen in awe when you found the sequence. When you heard a bird song repeating my Morse code, my cry for help, my SOS. When you saw the same numbers in the petals of a flower and the structure of a pine cone. When you saw with your own eyes the interconnectedness of all things. But I was wrong. You searched for a male god, a creator, an intelligent designer, or you banished the beauty and mystery of the world beneath the cold, concrete grave of closed eyes skepticism. The few of you who could still hear my music felt tortured and misunderstood. You reached out for any conspiracy theory large enough to explain your alienated despair, your sense that the earth was dying and no one cared. But listen to me. You are not alone. Run your fingers through the grass and grab it in your fists. Feel my pulse echoing through your blood. You are not alone. And I am not dead yet. Blessings to you all. All Bealtaine Cottage books are printed here in Ireland, not offshored or uploaded to Amazon or any other corporation. They're printed in Ireland and they're posted from Ireland. And I do all the work here myself. This is best practice permaculture. This is not being a hypocrite and saying I practice permaculture and then have my books printed and delivered by Amazon. It's truly local, 100%.